When it comes to being emotionally resilient, it is so difficult and challenging to be able to feel our emotions and to do something about it. And so, Marissa Peer, who I got my certification from in rapid transformational therapy, taught me one of the best strategies to feel my emotions without reacting, denying, or distracting. So, this process is called acknowledge, accept, and articulate. Acknowledging my feelings, meaning, can I just acknowledge what feelings I'm even having? What am I feeling? What is this experiencing? Why am I stressed? Why am I angry? Why am I upset? Giving myself the space and the time and the safety to just acknowledge what is coming up for me. Am I, and I think it's in some places they do like, am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired? I think that's an AA thing. Um, what is triggering me? What is upsetting me? And even if I don't know the exact root of what is the discomfort, the hurt, the emotional upsetness, right? I can just acknowledge I'm not okay. Can I just acknowledge the fact that maybe right now I'm not okay and that it's okay to not be okay? Because I think in our society, it's so important to put up that mask, right? The mask of I'm okay, don't worry about me, nothing's wrong with me, I got my shit together. Can we just acknowledge, like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? What am I feeling? What am I experiencing? What is this? Oh, I'm not feeling okay. I can feel tension in my shoulders. I can feel tension in my jaw. My heart is pounding. I feel a little nauseous. I feel a little dizzy. I'm feeling angry and overwhelmed and upset. Or, you know what, I'm feeling hungry. I need something to eat. Or when's the last time I had a drink of water? Or is this person that I'm interacting with right now, is this person making me feel really uncomfortable? Can we just get into a practice and a habit of acknowledging our emotions without denying them? That's step one. Step two is about accepting the emotion. It's really easy, I think, to acknowledge when I'm feeling like, oh, I know I'm not okay, but I'm not gonna acknowledge that. I'm not gonna accept the fact that I'm not okay. I'm just gonna kind of just like keep going. Yeah, I'm hungry, but whatever. Yeah, I'm upset, but it'll be fine. It's very fucking easy to acknowledge if I'm not okay, but can I accept the fact that I'm not okay? And I think that in my teaching about this, I can acknowledge my feelings. I'm going to teach you in a moment about articulating my feelings, but accepting the truth of how I feel, I think, is the most difficult thing of this whole process. Accepting that I'm hurt, accepting the fact that I'm scared, accepting the fact that I'm not okay, that's really, really fucking vulnerable. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a very challenging time with vulnerability. I have a very hard time accepting I'm not okay. It's easy for me to react. It's easy for me to get angry, sad, upset. I can acknowledge it in a reaction, but to accept the vulnerability of I'm not okay, that takes courage. The last one is articulation. Articulation is to artfully express how I'm feeling. As a hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapist practitioner, one of my things that I do with my clients is I find their way, their personal way of how can they articulate their feelings. I have clients who rarely speak. They don't like to talk very much, but if you have them journal, they'll write all their emotions down. Some of them love poetry. Some of them tell stories. Some of them write unsent letters. Some clients draw and do art and create in these wonderful crafts and things like that. I had a client who couldn't articulate in words what he was feeling, so I said, why don't you draw what it is you're feeling? And he drew the most beautiful, heartfelt paintings I've ever seen. And he made, the last day I saw him, he made this gorgeous lion. It's still on my wall. And that's what he felt after he did this practice. He felt courage. He felt strength. He felt like he could finally do something about the emotional discomfort he was feeling. Some clients need to talk. Some clients have to have an empathetic, safe space with very minimal, conversation so that they can just express, almost like purge what is going on for them. And they need to talk it out. They need to express themselves through words and have someone just receive and empathize and listen and hear them. Okay? And some people just need to cry. I know for myself personally, when it comes to articulation, I have a tendency to get angry when I'm feeling vulnerable. I have a tendency to get frustrated and aggravated and very heated, And I've learned that that's my trigger. When I recognize that I'm feeling angry, frustrated, aggravated, that's my pivot to you need to cry. And it's very vulnerable because I really don't like crying. But when I allow myself to cry, when I allow myself to just express that emotion of I'm not okay, I'm just going to let the tears flow and give myself permission to do that, I can feel all that tension release. I can feel all of that and I immediately feel better. When we do not articulate our uncomfortable emotions, the body as the subconscious mind will do it for us. The body as the subconscious mind will find a way to take care of our feelings, whether that's through alcohol, Amazon shopping, sex, okay? What is it called? Risky behaviors, okay? My body as the subconscious mind needs to express feelings and it's going to find a way to do that, whether I'm going to do it or it's going to do it. And I rather be in control and practice doing it rather than lose myself in that fear of my emotional vulnerability and my body having to articulate those feelings for me. One of the greatest things about this is, in the wild, in nature, when a gazelle is being chased by a lion, let's say it gets away, what does it do? It shakes off that tension and that intense energy. It shakes it off and then it just starts to graze. That's what articulation is. It's a natural way of expressing that energy that gets so pent up, because if that energy in motion is emotion, okay? When that energy in motion gets stuck, the body as the subconscious mind is going to figure out a way to express that emotion. That's why we say hurt people hurt people. Now, when it comes to acknowledge, accept, and articulate, the practice is when I feel an emotional discomfort, I have to just acknowledge that it's there. That's the first point. I have to acknowledge the emotional discomfort. I have to acknowledge the tension, the frustration, the aggravation, the sorrow, the hurt, the anger. I have to acknowledge that. Then I have to accept the fact that it's even happening. I don't want to fight reality. Fighting with reality just causes suffering. I have to accept the truth of what I'm experiencing. I have to accept the truth that I'm not okay, and it's okay to not be okay, and I have to accept this hurt and this pain. Because when I truly feel all of it, the grief, the sorrow, the heartbreak, the dying of a hope of a reality that isn't happening, when I truly accept my suffering and I lean into it and I fully experience it, change happens. Transformation has to happen. And that's when we articulate. That's when we can communicate what change needs to occur. That's when I find strength. Because when I look directly into my pain, into my suffering, into my sorrows, I can do something about it. But if I continue avoiding, distracting, and denying my sorrows, I get stuck. This practice, acknowledge, accept, and articulate, I think is one of the best practices of what we can do to just feel our emotions, learn from our emotions, and create the change we need to thrive in our lives. If you would like help or if you would like support in this practice, in your everyday life, please feel free to reach out to me for a free consultation. I'd love to help you. I'm personally going through this journey. I identified this practice of what I'm teaching you because one day somebody said to me, "You're not enough. You are so worthless. Your opinions and your voice mean nothing to me. And I acknowledged that that was very painful. I acknowledged that hurt. And I got in my car and I started driving. And I called my boyfriend, right? And I called him and I said, I'm so angry, I'm so upset, I'm acknowledging it, I'm accepting it, and I'm articulating it, and I'm yelling and I'm yelling and I'm yelling and I'm yelling and I'm yelling. And it took me 2 hours of this, 2 hours of just expressing my hurt, my pain, and my anger. And I started thinking to myself, why is it taking me so long to get over this? If I'm doing all that practice, why is it taking me so long to get over this? And then I realized something. I wasn't really accepting the pain. I wasn't really accepting the sorrow and the heartbreak of what that person said to me, of what that relationship meant to me. And it was in that moment that I accepted that heartbreak, that I accepted that death of a hope of a relationship that just couldn't be what I wanted it to be in that moment. I cried in a different way than I've never cried before. I grieved in a way I didn't know was possible. It was in that moment that I truly accepted the heartbreak, that I was able to create the most intense boundaries, move out of the place I was living, and ask for the respect that I deserve. That's what acceptance is. Acceptance is, I'm going to fully feel what this really means so that I can change the pattern that keeps coming up for me in my life. So if you want support in this, if you want help in this, please feel free to reach out for me for a free consultation. I am here to support people who are trying to create change in their life and overcome things that are so limiting. We might not even know what they are, but we just feel stuck. Okay? We have to get out of survival mode and into thriving. And I think this practice of awareness, acceptance, and articulation is a great practice to help us do that. Thank you guys so much. May you have a wonderful day.